I'm going to call the meeting to order at 9:32 a.m. Okay, so Leslie, I know, can we give the details of our meeting attendance or how to offer public comment? You want to share that?
This meeting will be held in person and via teleconference hybrid. The public is welcome to attend the meeting in person or remotely via Zoom. However, the meeting will proceed as normal even if there are technical difficulties accessing Zoom. The city will do its best to resolve any technical issues as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Can you do a roll call, please?
Katie Ania.
Here.
Jeff Meacham.
Here?
Ellen Martin. Judy Refuerzo. Maria Roos.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's raise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public appearances?
No.
Nothing online either? Perfect. Okay, so do we have any announcements from the commissioners?
I have nothing, actually, no.
I do not either, thank you.
Okay. I do not, with one comment, just because we have two members not here. One of the members, Ellen Martin, sent me some comments on one of the topics that will be included in the budget, so we'll discuss it then, and I'll share some of her thoughts, but then is for follow-up during the April meeting. So that will be, I'll explain a little bit more, but I just wanted to share that I did receive comments from, and I sent a note to Judy. I think Judy, I don't know, she probably didn't have any particular comments on the budget, but okay, thank you. Leslie, any comments?
I'm just going to make one comment and then I'll save the rest of them for later in the meeting. But I wanted to announce that the farmers market third Thursday events will not be starting in March. They will be starting in April. So there was just some issues with the March date, so we're pushing it back.
Okay, but we'll be ready for them when they come on Thursday, on every third Thursday in April. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, so shall we move on to the order of business, Leslie?
Yeah.
First item, approval of the minutes of the February 17, 2026, the special meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay.
Katie Ania.
Yes.
Jeff Meacham.
Yes.
Maria Roos.
Yes.
Approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next item is to review past events. Do we have any thoughts on, I know we've had events in January and February, and we're already in March, but so any events that you want to share thoughts or reactions of your participation, if any?
I don't think I have anything. I feel like we covered January and February. I can't think of anything else, so I think I'm good. Thank you.
I have nothing.
I have nothing either. So let's move on. No past events to discuss. Then we'll go into upcoming events. Anybody have any upcoming events? Or Leslie, do you have a list of upcoming events?
I have a list.
Okay.
Actually, I did add to the website and then I included in the packet the dates for the events that I do know of. And as always, these events and dates are subject to change. So the other big announcement is that the Great Sandcastle Contest has been scheduled for Saturday, September 18th. I've already received phone calls of people excited about that date. So stay tuned for a theme and the time and all the other details once we get closer down the road. And the AIA Monterey Bay chapter is once again going to be helping us out, and we appreciate their help.
Just a quick point of clarification on the 2026 events that was included in the packet. It does state Saturday, September 19th. I believe the 18th is a Friday, so just want to clarify.
I don't have a calendar in front of me.
I do have one here. September 19th is the Saturday, yes.
Okay, yeah,
So it looks like it's correct in the documentation, which is great.
okay. We were tossing between Saturday and Sunday and things, and so last year we had it on a Sunday, but this year we have an event scheduled at the beach, a private event, and so we had to go back to Saturday. So, but I will double check those dates, just because that was the thing. Okay,
Quick question on that, Leslie. For the judging, when do you request volunteers from the commission? Because we usually have, what, 2 of us?
we
Or-
have 2 of us for judging, and I'll probably do that a couple more months down the road, once we know the timing of when the event's gonna start, so that people can look at their calendars and see their availability. But just keep it in mind on that date, that if you wanna participate and get bribes, would be more than welcome to have you.
Perfect. No, that's good, because I know last year we had that discussion, so it's great to make sure that everybody knows the date, knows the timing, and then we can have at least 2 commissioners help with the judging. I appreciate that, Leslie. Thank you.
That's all I really have for upcoming. The other one is, I guess, Breakfast with the Bunny. I have talked with the Carmel Host Lions, and they have submitted their application, and they are ready to go on that. So we will move forward with that, and the city provides tables, chairs, and that kind of thing to help them out. And then also, just to get it on your calendar, the citywide evacuation drill and safety day on Saturday, May 30th. There will be more hot dogs available at that event also.
We are like the hot dog city, huh?
Everybody loves hot dogs in this town, so yes.
Can we ever move to hamburgers? I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
It's
That's
hot
great.
dogs all the way.
I know. Okay, one quick question on that, Leslie, just to double check. The other day, the Earth and Arbor Day, that's confirmed, right? April 25th, just to make sure that what's in front of us is the exact date? Is it
It's Saturday, April 18th,
18th?
the 18th.
Okay, I don't have the old one. So. Okay, thank you.
Because the other one is the Saturday, Earth Day is that week, and then the other Saturday, the 25th, is the day before the Big Sur Marathon. So,
That was why I was worried.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
no, we went around that one. But if you have any other questions about dates or upcoming events, just give me an email and I can help you out.
And then Leslie, maybe next month when we have hopefully the full commissioners, all of us together, maybe we do a quick rundown of all of the upcoming ones and see which ones you will need volunteers for.
Okay.
Because that will at least let us align, you know what I mean? Perfect.
And then also, next month, we will be looking at forming an ad hoc committee to work on the birthday celebration. So if you have any interest in that, please come forward. And then I don't know if we'll do it at the same time, but we were also thinking of an ad hoc committee for the holiday celebration. So those are 2 ad hoc committees that will be coming up, and you'll be working with staff, and each one of those can have 2 people.
And that's key. So I was thinking we were going to discuss this during the budget, but we can do it right now. So just a few thoughts. One is I would like it for us to discuss in the next April and see which commissioners will sit in each one of those 2 ad hocs, because of course it's only 2 and 2, so that'll be perfect. The second thing is reach out to staff, but I also want to reach out to the community to see if there are people and members of the community that want to be part. We don't want to make it such a large group. I have a preference for groups to be between 4 and 5 people be sufficient, in my opinion. When they get too big, it's hard to coordinate. I would love to get your feedback on that, but at least we can reach out. If we have, let's say, 2 commissioners plus 1 staff, and then 2 members of the community, and it could be like somebody from a business and somebody from a resident, you know what I mean? Just give it some thought so we can discuss those 2 ad hoc groups next month, in April. Leslie, are you okay with that? Does that sound reasonable?
If we keep it small, yes, because if we get large, it gets a little more difficult. And I want people to remember that we're not looking at something at doing on the scale of the big centennial. That was a whole committee that did that, more than 5 people that put that all together. So we're just looking at little things that we can do to celebrate the city and its birthday around town, that kind of thing.
So bring your thoughts, basically. And I guess since we're in this topic, Leslie, maybe I'll bring out some of the thoughts that I got from Judy, or shall we, from Ellen, do we want to do that now? How do you feel?
I think we should just wait until next week when we do the ad hoc committee and that kind of thing. You can
Next
always,
week?
Next
month.
Next month, sorry.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can always share that with the group. It's just that when we do that, don't reply all.
Perfect. Okay, so just so that you know, just to give you a reference, she basically sent us, and I'm going to just give you a couple titles, not to give you all the details, but for example, was 100 Years of Creative Spirit, Living Our Timeline, Bohemian Birthday Bash, Minutes of Music by the Sea, 110 Minutes of Music by the Sea, 110 Acts of Kindness Campaign, planting the next 110 Community Tree Ceremony, 110 Windows Art Walk, a signature idea. So this is what one of our commissions sent, because she's on vacation, so I guess she was in a very creative mode, and she's very creative because we saw the demonstration at the hall and the Pots for Paws. So I really appreciate what she's done. So come prepare. So what I'm going to suggest, I will share this with everybody, because this is how we had originally organized it, that any one of you will send me comments. So I will share with everybody, don't respond. But as you bring your thoughts, bring them over so that maybe at the April meeting, we can have a little more time to discuss some ideas. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great idea, Leslie. So I'll go ahead and send it out to the team, okay? Anything else, Leslie, on upcoming events?
That is all I have on upcoming events.
Okie dokie. So then we go to our last item, which is receive a report of the Community Activities Department proposed draft budget and provide staff with direction. So if you can share some of based on our discussion last month, that would be great.
Okay, we went over the draft budget last month. Almost seems like it was last week. And there was the 5 categories: contract services, which is the farmer's market, management, event sound, porta potty rentals, the fun stuff. Then there's community promotions, which is supplies, snacks, decorations, health department permits. There's advertising in the pine cone. There's office supplies. And then there's the printing, which is flyers, posters, that kind of thing. So everything fits into one of those 5 categories. And last meeting, it was asked if we would up the budget for the birthday celebration because of the 110th. So I went ahead and did that. Let's find where I am here.
So just so that you know, when the categories are the colors, and they're all at the bottom of the chart, where the 5 categories are, so that you can see that's the aggregate. Now she's going up into the sections. Does that make sense?
Sorry, I can't find my other page here. Okay, what?
I can let you share mine.
Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. So I upped that to $2,500. Now, after looking at some of Ellen's ideas, that $2,500 includes the candy we give out for the trick-or-treating after the parade, the hot dogs, which last year we did 300, so we may have to up that. And then the chips in the water and the condiments for the hot dogs. So I don't know if, looking at Ellen's ideas, we should up that a little more, or if 2,500 we're comfortable with that.
Well, Ellen had said that she had some ideas of budget, but she
But
was
she
not able
didn't-
to attach it.
Yeah,
or
so
share
that's
it.
why, yeah, but
But let's think about it. If we were to do 3 or 4 activities, and I'll give it more to the business side because you're more attuned of what the cost of things are. Think about if we do 4 or 5 activities around the city or concentrated in the park, and we deliver goods like the hot dogs and the snacks. Does 2,500 sound enough? Because for me, it sounds pretty low, but I'm looking for your input, your thoughts.
So I just did a little quick math. So I figured, if we're feeding 300 people at $2,500, that's about $8 a person. So, I feel like that's pretty tight. If we wanted to increase, I remember last year there were tons of people there to come and get snacks in the park. So I do think an increase would be great. But we'll work with our budget.
No, I concur. I think that $8 is pretty tight. I think just as a point of reference, in my daily, when I'm budgeting for these types of things, to have a relatively good-sized portion for an individual, we're closer to $10 to $15, right, per plate, if you will. So including the candies, hot dogs, chips, and the water.
And just to let you know, I probably said that a little wrong, but that would also include, that was what we paid. Let me start over. Last year, we weren't going as big as we're toying this year. So that was what that money was spent on last year. But this year, it would include the other events and that it wouldn't all be on the food. So it would include any other ideas or supplies we needed to do the other events during that time.
Then yes, I would like to increase our budget, please.
Yes. No, and just to be clear, what was approved last year was $1,500. We've spent $599. That's correct, right, Leslie?
Right.
So that's what we spent. So we're basically giving it like 5 times more of that, you know what I mean? Increase it, but that was limited, small, and we couldn't really reach out to everybody. So that was already kind of cutting it a little bit too close. So back to your thoughts of expanding it, I'm all for increasing it a little bit, but go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just curious, do we have any idea of what the deficit was in terms of, because you said we weren't able to reach out to everybody with those concessions. I'm curious if there was, a crowd still around waiting for a hot dog.
There were a lot of people just in the park. I think had we continued to serve, they would have continued to arrive. I don't know if there was like a sweet number that we would have been like, okay, we served everyone. I don't know that.
But it's hard because
It's so hard to tell because the year before, we did 200 hot dogs and they went so fast. So we upped it to 300. You never know how many people are gonna come, how many people want hot dogs, and then it's also the timing. We don't want to give them out because there are people who just hang out and watch at the park. So they get in line. And so we don't want to give all the hot dogs to those people and then the people who have participated in the parade miss out. So it's a timing and a logistical function. But I think last year, there weren't too many people who didn't get a hot dog if they wanted it. So, and it all depends, again, this year, and one of the things that the ad hoc committee is going to have to discuss is, are we having the parade on a Friday or a Saturday? Because last meeting, and this, I'm sorry, I should have brought this up with this discussion here. Because Halloween is on a Saturday this year, we have the problem of staffing. If you've noticed at the Halloween parade, I grab every staff member I can find within the city to man intersections, to close Ocean Avenue and the side streets for vehicle safety. Saturday, I won't have that pool of volunteers to pull from. So we'll have to look at if we want to do the parade on Friday, where it's like after school or that kind of thing, and then do a bigger birthday celebration, separate the two this year, and do a bigger birthday celebration on Saturday. So that's something to take into consideration. So then the hot dogs would be on Friday, and then Saturday would be something completely different, maybe cake or something, I don't know, but.
Right.
So that's another aspect that the ad hoc committee will have to look into.
And that's why I'm thinking, as we form the ad hoc groups, think about bringing, even if the team can be small, but then those teams reaching out for volunteers and support, because yes, I mean, we may not get the same support on Saturday, totally understand, you know what I mean? On the other hand, some people, if it's a celebration of merit, you know what I mean, that means quite a bit to us, they may show up. You know what I mean? It's like people show up for the Halloween parade and stand around and wave, you know what I mean? Even though it's not necessarily, sometimes the timing is not perfect, you know what I mean? So I think if we can just think about it, but I love the idea of having enough budget to support the two activities if we end up going in two ways or one altogether. So I would say, Leslie, if you feel comfortable with that budget, I would say fine, but I would say based on the feedback we're getting, maybe we raise it a little bit more because we may have cakes, we may have cookies, we may have decorations that we want to do. Well, I know decorations are a different line, but any food that we think may be meaningful or something that, I mean, maybe the big cake is going to cost us a lot more because we're going to be cutting a cake, you know what I mean? So think about that, and maybe we raise it $500 more just to be safe or something. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I have an additional thought, and is if we do the parade on Friday and this larger celebration on Saturday, do we incur additional expense that would be essentially negated by upping the budget? So again, I think it comes back to the ad hoc committee and having a better understanding. But I think the additional, it looks like we allocated out of the 2,500, it was about 500 for concessions.
Yeah, last year, the budget for, let's just say the food, was $1,500, and we only spent $600 of that. So this year, because we want to make this a bigger celebration and include more food or more printing of programs or something, a calendar or something like that, we upped it to 2,500. We can up that again, or we can put it into, and the way the categories go, like the blue ones, those are things, it was just to separate the items out in that category for that event. So we had an idea of where the money was being spent. So all of these can be raised, like decorations for the park. We can put more money in that. It's one pool of money, but it was just the way we have delineated it so we knew what we were looking at and to justify it to council and finance and that kind of thing.
Right, and it's good, for example, that you added the health department permit, because if we are celebrating, maybe we have to serve alcohol, maybe we have to get a permit, maybe, you know what I mean? So therefore, you added $500 that we did not spend. I mean, that we spent $490, but it was not budgeted originally. So finding those areas where there may be a permit requirement, therefore, now we have that amount, you know what I mean? But I'm good with increasing it a little bit, because I really, really think this is, especially for our commission, this is our year to make the town shine, because of, it's like we should all be celebrating almost like monthly or something in preparation of, and then when we arrive, here we are. So this is what I think is, even though we're calling it city birthday and / parade, it's city birthday, but we can do city birthday activities like 2 or 3 during the year. You know what I mean? So think about it that way, so we're not limiting to the exact date, because we may build up for the exact date. You know what I mean? So I'm all for increasing it a little bit if you feel comfortable, Leslie. I mean, I don't know. I would say
mean,
$500 more.
I
just to
feel
give you-
comfortable, it's just knowing, we may not get this money when it
Sure.
comes to the budget, but yeah, I feel comfortable putting it in there.
Yeah, okay, good. So I will say, let's add it at $500, just to add a little bit more safety net based on what we spent this year. What do you think?
And I think that's fair because, if I look at other line items in the budget, for instance, decorations for the park, we've only allocated an additional $16 for this year. So if we want to go big, so to speak, and once we
Sure.
have that ad hoc committee and we're telling them, here's the budget, it would be nice to have some additional funds and we could allocate them once that committee decides where those would be best used.
I concur. I agree with you, Jeff.
Okay, so Leslie, do you need us to vote on an increase, or you just go ahead and move it
I
on?
just add it to the budget.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so we'll add $500 to, we're calling it candy, dogs, chips, water, et cetera, whatever that may be, I mean?
It's just
Yes.
the blue lines.
Yes,
for-
exactly, the blue grouping, yes.
Yeah, the grouping, yes.
The grouping called community promotions.
Right.
Perfect, perfect.
And the other one that came up new was for the July 4th event with Monterey Pops. I had contacted them to find out if they were going to be doing their event this year, and they said yes, and they came back. Unfortunately, they are having difficulties this year fundraising. And so they may have a smaller band because they do pay all the band members. And so this is taking away from that aspect of it. So they were wondering if we could pay for the toilets and the sound system, which is something that they usually do. And I said, I can put it in the budget and we'll see what happens. And then I did go back to them and ask if it would be possible to split the fee, and they said yes. So I am adding, as you can see, the new expense under portable restrooms and the sound, what they have given me as numbers, and I added a little bit to that just because things have gone up in price over the year. So that is a new expense from last time we looked at the budget.
Is that split with them? That's a 50%
I'm
cost?
putting it all in there just in case, so that if they do split it, then we are covered either way.
Makes sense.
But they are open to that, but I wanted to make sure that if something came up and they couldn't, they have been so kind and so great to work with since they took over our 4th of July event. And it's such a popular event that we really want to help them out and keep this going. And I think the other one, last month we talked about was the new menorah, because ours was damaged. And the other one was the Car Week shuttle. That money is put into our budget. If they decide, I'm sure they will. After tonight, we'll see what happens. They're discussing Car Week again at the council meeting. So I've included that amount, and they spent about $22,000 to $24,000 last year on the Car Week shuttle. But if they do run it, they want to expand the hours. So that, I just bumped up the price on that. And that is basically it for new items and things that happened since the last budget discussion.
Right, I would go back to just, Jeff, I know you were not here last month, but one of the key discussions we had, Chief Trayer present to us the Car Week findings, what he found. Today, he's going to the city council to present, basically bring forward the presentation that he gave us with some modifications, some enhancements. And one of those was the shuttle. The shuttle was very well received. There are even people, I wanted to tell you, I've been stopped by a few people saying, why don't we have a shuttle almost like all year long? Why don't we have a shuttle that parks cars somewhere else and brings people in like many other cities do? So because parking is a big thing that is going to be discussed hopefully by city council, but is one of the top priority items, even though it's kind of split into sections, I think it's something worthwhile keeping an eye on, because I think the results of Car Week will enhance or highlight or reinforce the need for shuttle. And I don't know if you've had experience, especially you from the business, have you heard anything from the shuttle? Because I know Leslie and I were looking like 30,000, it seems like a lot of money, but in some ways is a good thing. Why does it reside with us? It's okay, we'll keep an eye item in our budget, but thoughts?
So I helped out with the shuttle last year, and it was very well received. I do think extending working different hours and things like that would be helpful. It was kind of last minute, so our advertising was a little shorter. So I feel like this year with a longer headway, we could beef up our businesses using that. I feel like it was really used. I mean, residents, I will say, used it. People that don't live in the village but live in Carmel parked there, and tourists parked there. But I think it would be helpful, to lean in more on our employees and staff parking, being able to park there for the day. Yeah.
Well, I can say that that's one of the comments I hear the most when people come in, is that how hard or difficult it was to find parking in the city. So any opportunity we have to highlight, and this is a perfect example, since it is such a busy week in town, is this an opportunity for us to parlay it into a more permanent solution? So I'm all for it.
I will say we did try to lean in last year prior to Car Week on trying to have valet or shuttle or things like that, and council wasn't looking for that at that time. But perhaps, as we establish this shuttle concept, I guess, during Car Week, maybe it will help inspire us to be able to do it a little bit more.
Did we get any insight into, because I believe one of the hotel properties here in town had a valet service that they were providing. I'm curious if there's any way we could maybe model something off of that, what they were doing.
I believe so. I think we had a lot of ideas. I just think there wasn't necessarily, we couldn't get it off the ground at the city level.
Right, it may be worthwhile, and I plan to attend this afternoon to the city council meeting to see kind of like how the reaction from council is on the topic of Car Week, because it's Car Week at large. But maybe that's a worthwhile element to maybe bring back to them, says, remember, one of the items that, and I can say, we carried it as a budget item in our Community Activities Commission, yet we think the parking solution with the shuttle is really good, but what other solutions are we looking for? Because maybe it's a time to, I agree, Jeff, maybe learn from some others, but maybe enhance it. There was a proposal, and it will be, and we heard about it at our last meeting, if you recall, from, remind me, Good Roots, and it's a little bit of parking, but this is almost like 6 to 9 or 6 to 10. I mean, the timing is not 100% fixed, but it's basically making some areas of town, like Ocean Avenue and some of the side streets from Junipero to Monteverde, Junipero, I can't remember exactly, but it was basically allowing people to come, park their cars, go to businesses, and then have a managed way of exiting the city so that there's no revving and making noises and making it kind of not appealing to residents, you know what I mean? So I think we'll see how the council reacts today, because I am optimistic, in my opinion, just my opinion. I believe this is a worthwhile kind of test drive to do, you know what I mean? We'll see. Like in anything, beta test, you check it, it works, great, we'll continue to do it. If it doesn't, okay, we tried it at least once, like we did with the shuttle. The shuttle was the first time ever, and now we're gonna do it again. So thoughts from you, because you were here when Good Roots presented. Any thoughts?
No, I feel like I've kind of been chatting about this in the village too with residents in particular. I'm curious tonight how it will be received, but I do think, just we've been trying something, and now maybe it's time to try something different. So I'm excited that the chief is open to trying to solve or, help the issue that we have during Car Week. Yeah.
And I just maybe take a step back too. I was kind of making the statement that we would go from, Car Week shuttle experience, and this being the second year, and just going all in after that. I think, an iterative step with the other large events that we have in town and just gradually build something out until we have a more permanent solution.
I agree. The measured approach makes a lot of sense for us. Totally agree, Jeff. Yeah, okay, good, great. So those are all your new items on the budget. So I guess we do not, you don't need to, for us to vote on your budget. We just need to know that if we're okay with the current budget presented by Leslie with the increase that we just talked about, I think we're, at least from my standpoint, you have to go ahead to present it to the Finance Committee and hope that it gets supported the way it is presented. Any thoughts, anybody, last minute for Leslie? Okay, good. So you're good
Thank
to
you
go
for
with your
input.
budget.
Yeah, I just turn it into finance and then it goes with all the other departments and becomes part of the large-scale budget discussion.
Sounds great. Excellent, good luck, and we're hoping we get it all. Okay, so that basically takes care of all of what we have in the orders of business. I would love to address any future agenda items. I know we talked about a couple of things. Leslie, you have any thoughts there?
The two that I have on here are 110th birthday ideas and the ad hoc committees for next month.
I do too. I would love, so that now we put the call for action for all of us to come up with ideas for the 110th anniversary celebration, and even for the end of year celebration, you know what I mean? Because those, we were gonna create 2 ad hocs for those. There are a few people that have reached out with some ideas to me, but I'll bring them to the ad hoc meetings, and depending on who addresses it, I'll just hand them over, you know what I mean? That'll be great. And then, but come prepared for April. I hope we have a full commission so that we can discuss this and form the groups and then go forward. So I think that will take quite a bit of time. And in April, just another reminder, Leslie, can you just double check which are our 3 big events in April, just for a reminder?
We have the Carmel Host Lions Breakfast with the Bunny on Saturday, April 4th. I don't know the times yet. Usually it's like 7 a.m. to like noon, but they have not given me their final details yet. The Farmers Market Third Thursday will take place on April 16th. That'll be the first one. And then, of course, Earth Plus Arbor Day on Saturday, April 18th, and that will be in Devendorf Park. And there's going to be booths and some music, and there will be a mini farmer's market.
Nice, excellent, perfect. So, since, I guess, the first was April 4th, so that would be right after the first council meeting. So maybe what I'll do, because I think it's important to share some of our dates with the community. I mean, as we go forward, I've been doing that every month if possible. But since these are in April, maybe I'll just share them at the next council meeting, because I believe the council meetings are on April 1st and 2nd. I would imagine they're the first. So I'll share them then instead of sharing them today, but I'll let you all know. That's my plan. Okay, perfect. And then Leslie, just a reminder, our next meeting is on April. I thought I had it on me and I didn't write it
Again,
down.
I'm
Let me double
without a
check.
calendar.
So,
Sorry,
No worries.
I'm thrown off because we're so early this month now.
Actually, we're on April 14th, as far as I can tell.
I think that sounds about right.
And it's interesting because the city council meetings, April doesn't have, the first and the second are on a Wednesday and a Thursday. So the council meetings
Oh,
are
it's
probably the
after.
6th or the 7th. So maybe what I'll do is I'll share, if you find out what the timing is for the breakfast with the bunny, I could even share those 3 events today at the
Okay.
council meeting, because we will not have a meeting, they will not have a meeting before
I
them.
think they submitted their application right before I walked out the office this morning, so.
Okay, if you don't have the timing, then I can hold off on that one. I mean, and then announcement at the next council meeting on the 6th or the 7th. Okay, perfect. So our next meeting is on the 14th. Perfect. Okay, that's all we have from future items. So any last minute thoughts, everybody? Okay, so I'd like to call the meeting at 10:11, closing the adjournment. Okay, meeting adjourned.